So my gas tank arrived the other day, and I'm going to work on getting it mounted to the machine now. This gas tank is 6 inches in diameter and 18 inches long, with a capacity of right at 2 gallons. So it's a little more than the stock tank, which should be plenty. It's got a nice gas cap on it, and it's got the 1/4 inch pipe thread at the bottom. So that, as you'll recall, is for my 90-degree elbow here with the hose barb for the fuel line. It's also got these 2 brackets for mounting. So the next step is I've got some channel that I'm going to cut, drill a couple holes, and make some mounting brackets for the back of the machine, and that's what I'm going to do next. So here I've got my Milwaukee chop saw, and I'm about to cut 2 pieces of 2-inch channel, and I'm going to make 2 brackets that correspond with the 2 hoop brackets that go on the gas tank for mounting on the back of my Bobcat. And once I get these cut, cleaned up, I'll show you what I'm going to do on the back of the machine. So I've got my brackets cut, and the next thing to do is go to the drill press here, and I'm going to drill a couple holes. So here are the 2 mounting brackets that I've made. I still need to clean them up with an angle grinder, but they have holes in them that match the 2 mounting holes to these hoop brackets. And the next step will be to weld these to the back of the machine. Okay, so I spent a couple minutes and cleaned up these brackets with an angle grinder, and I've got this one in place with the vice grips before I weld, just to make sure I've got the right placement. As you can see, I cut the top corner off just so that the cab could still get tipped up without interfering with the bracket in the tank. And I'm going to weld this on just because it gives me an excuse to use my welder, and I think it'll be a nice clean look after I get done. Okay, the welding is complete. So now both brackets are welded in place, and again you can see the cab can tip up almost as far as I want it to without interfering with the brackets. So what I'm going to do next is clean them up and throw a little white paint on these, and then throw my brackets on, and the tank will be mounted. Okay, there you can see the brackets welded on the machine and painted, and I'm just going to let them dry a while, and the next step will be to mount the tank. Alright, while I wait for my paint to dry, I'll go ahead and prep my tank. Here I'm just going to put a wrap of Teflon tape around the 90-degree elbow, around the pipe threads, and tighten it down. Okay, here's the installed gas tank. Again, this is a 2-gallon tank, so just slightly larger than the Predator stock tank. And with the brackets, I was able to stand the tank off the machine by a couple inches, so I've got plenty of space now. As I tip up the cage, it's not going to interfere with the tank. And one of the main benefits with this externally mounted tank is that now I can just fill and not have to open up the engine compartment door. And I think it just looks nice on the back of the machine. Alright, here's another view of the gas tank. And I just got done putting the fuel line on the bottom of the tank. And I took advantage of the existing hole in the back of the machine to route my fuel line into the engine compartment and down to the motor. So at this point, I still need my throttle linkage, and I'll probably put the stock muffler back on it just to run it. I need to put some oil into the motor, and I should be running here shortly. So I'm about ready to put oil in this motor, and you can see why I wanted to get rid of the stock gas tank, because I've got a lot more room to maneuver, even though it still is kind of an ugly angle getting a funnel in here. But you can also see the ball valve I put on the drain plug down here, and so that should just make oil changes in the future much easier.